Hey guys, welcome back to FG Tech Tips and to a new video. As I mentioned in one of my last videos, if you didn't see that, I suggest you to look in the upper right corner for it. I mentioned about a new lens I received and today we are finally ready for reviewing it. I'm talking about the Viltrox 85mm f1.8 for Sony mirrorless cameras. It has an E-mount, so it's designed for full frame cameras, but it can be obviously used also on APS-C cameras with a cropping factor obviously. Viltrox also does another version of this lens for the Fuji X mount. For those of you who don't know about this brand and are probably wondering if you can rely on it or not, I would say don't worry at all, since it's a trusted brand. They started to develop and manufacture camera accessories back in 2007. They are based in Shenzhen and we can see Viltrox as a comprehensive photographic equipment enterprise. Main products go from LED lights, HDMI monitors to lens mount adapter, extension tubes, flashlights and, as we can see today, full frame prime lens. I have recently reviewed an incredible compact video RGB light from Viltrox. I suggest you to look at the video up here if you didn't see that and want to know more about it. With that being said, let's see on why I think these lenses are the best value option for Sony owners. 85mm is probably the most typical focal length for portraits. Having f1.8 is great, as it will give you the possibility to separate completely the subject from the background with a very nice bokeh. I didn't have a prime portrait lens so far from my Sony, and so I wanted to give it a try with this lens, and so far I'm really loving this lens. Their official price is 400 USD, but you can find them for less depending on the deals you can find. For example, I was able to get this on eBay brand new for a bit less than 300 USD, which is a huge deal if you compare it with Sony 85mm 1.8, which can be found at not less than 550 or 600 USD. Funny thing about this lens is also that in many reviews you can find online, they seem to perform actually better than the Sony G Master 85mm 1.4, especially in low light conditions, which is great as the G Master is 5 times more expensive than this one. They actually perform also better than the 85mm f1.8 from Sony, providing better additional sharpness. Anyway, without further ado, let's dive into the unboxing and the analysis of this lens. Okay, let's check what we have in the box. So, another box in the box. I hope there is actually something inside. Okay, first thing we see is a small bag. Warranty card in Chinese and in English. User's guide, luckily in English. And the lens, I have to say it's heavier than I thought. Whoa, that's a huge glass. Okay, let's look now at the lens a bit closer. So at the beginning it was a little bit complicated to get this hood off. You need to press just on this area here and then turn it, otherwise it won't come out. Then once you do this, it's a bit easier. Let's remove it again. It's hard plastic, but it doesn't seem high quality, while the rest of the lens is really solid and feels premium quality. Obviously it is also heavy since it's done of metal, aluminum, compared to the Sony alternative, which is obviously plastic, so lighter. Really depends on your style of photography and what you prefer. Let's remove the cap now, and we can see here we have something very handy, which is the USB connector. This is probably visible now. So that's a macro USB connector that will allow you to connect the lens directly to your computer without any need of any additional device, like for example we saw is the case with the Samyang lens. You can check that here. So the lens station I reviewed recently. We can see all around the lens there are no buttons, but the focus ring is actually one of the best I ever tried, really fluid and very long, which makes this lens maybe good alternative also for videos. The glass on this thing is amazing, it's huge. Minimum focus distance is 0.8 meter and the diameter of the filter is 72. The mount is metal and nicely machined. I can't see any gasket around the mount, but Viltrox reports these lenses are weather sealed. Regarding measurement, it's just 92 mm long and it weighs 626 grams. We don't have any lens stabilization here, but it makes full usage of the in-body stabilized sensor of the Sony cameras, so that's perfectly fine. Overall, I think this is one of the best build quality I've seen for a long time. I love also the coating. Probably the only bad note is regarding the lens hood, which is quite stiff, especially at the beginning. The focus ring opposes some resistance, which for some could be a bad thing, but personally I like it as it gives me more precision when switching to manual focus, especially at f1.8 where it's a bit more difficult to focus. Let's now look at what everybody is interested into. So how do these lenses perform? The first thing I thought about when I purchased this lens was how sharp they would be, especially at f1.8. But I have to say I was really surprised. Even at 1.8 the sharpness of this lens is incredible, and so in most cases I didn't find any need to go further at f2.0 or higher. Going up at 2.8 we see additional sharpness in the center of the image and we gain some contrast details, especially in the corners. Going therefore from f4 up to 11, the contrast and sharpness are really excellent. There are some chromatic aberration in light scenes, but that's not a big deal as they can be easily removed in post-production. With its 9 aperture blades we can see we have a very blurred background, which is anyway still keeping lots of details, and that's probably one of the best aspects I see in this lens. So in the end I was totally satisfied by the optical performances. I will be using this most at f1.8 due to the amazing bokeh and sharpness, but in order to get top sharpness I would suggest to go up to 2.8 or 4, since at that focal length you will benefit of the contrast too. So regarding autofocus, I found it extremely fast and I never heard any noise. On the contrary, for example, on the Samyang 35mm f2.8, you can check the review in this video here, the noise was quite evident sometimes. So in the end, would I suggest this lens to you guys? Absolutely, go for it, I would say. For a price range between 300 and 400 bucks, you get first of all great sharpness even at f1.8, incredible build quality, very nice bokeh, great autofocus, and a USB port for making the firmware upgrade process extremely easy. You don't need any additional device or lens station, for example. The only thing I didn't like so much was the lens hood, as I said, the weight, some chromatic aberration, which are easily to fix anyway. Yes. Another great point about this lens is the possibility to install an almost official firmware upgrade that will transform this into an f1.6 from f1.8, as we know. Yeah, you heard me right, that's possible, and if you are interested in this lens, I suggest you to look into this video right up here, where I show you on how to update the lens firmware and also how to bring this lens to f1.6 in just few simple steps. Also, if you are interested in this type of content, please make sure to subscribe and hit the bell below for getting notified on new videos, and check out also my photography playlist for previous videos I filmed. Let me also know in the comments below what you think about this lens, and if you have any specific question, I will be glad to reply to you as soon as possible. That's all I have for today, guys. Stay safe, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. I guess it wasn't true.